Hello, today, we will be discussing effective criticism delivery in the workplace. This session is designed to help you understand how to provide constructive feedback in a way that is clear, respectful, and productive. Our goal is to improve communication and foster a positive work environment. I'm Dr. Jawad Sebaali, and I look forward to guiding you through these important concepts. In this presentation, we will explore the topic of criticism in the workplace, starting with an introduction to its purpose and importance. We will discuss the need for cultural sensitivity when delivering criticism and consider the psychological impact it can have on employees. Timing and setting are crucial factors, so we will cover how to choose the right moment and environment for feedback. Preparation is key before delivering criticism, and we will look at how to use clear and respectful language to communicate effectively. The SBI model will be introduced as a structured approach to delivering criticism. Balancing positive and negative feedback helps maintain motivation, and active listening during feedback sessions ensures understanding. Nonverbal communication also plays a significant role, and we will address how to manage defensive reactions from employees. Follow-up after delivering criticism is important to support growth, along with encouraging self-reflection. Managers have a vital role in modeling a healthy feedback culture. We will identify common mistakes in delivering criticism and discuss how technology and remote feedback delivery impact the process. Legal and ethical considerations must be kept in mind, and building emotional intelligence is essential for effective feedback. Training programs can improve criticism skills, and we will explore ways to measure the effectiveness of criticism delivery. Adapting criticism for different roles and integrating it into performance management systems will also be covered. Encouraging a growth mindset helps overcome barriers to effective criticism. Finally, we will summarize best practices, emphasize the role of feedback in employee development, and discuss how to create a feedback-friendly environment. We will also address handling criticism from peers and subordinates. The presentation concludes with references, further reading, and usage guidance. In this introduction to criticism in the workplace, we emphasize that criticism, when delivered thoughtfully, is a crucial tool for both professional development and organizational growth. It involves providing feedback on performance, behavior, or work output with the goal of improvement. The key is to balance honesty with sensitivity to ensure that feedback is constructive and fosters a positive work environment. Criticism should focus on specific actions or outcomes rather than personal traits, maintaining professionalism throughout the process. Effective criticism helps clarify expectations, promotes accountability, and supports continuous learning. It also serves as the foundation for coaching, mentoring, and performance management. Well-delivered criticism encourages employees to recognize their strengths and areas for improvement, fostering open communication and reducing workplace tensions. Constructive feedback leads to higher productivity, better teamwork, and overall organizational success. When criticism is clear and respectful, it motivates rather than discourages employees, building trust and enhancing collaboration between team members and supervisors. Honesty is essential to provide clear, actionable feedback that drives real improvement. At the same time, delivering criticism with sensitivity respects the employee's dignity and emotional well-being. This balanced approach reduces defensiveness and increases the likelihood of a positive response and meaningful change. Sensitivity involves choosing the right language, tone, and timing to avoid misunderstandings or offense. Ultimately, this balance creates a supportive atmosphere where feedback is viewed as an opportunity for growth rather than a threat. This slide explains the purpose and impact of criticism in the workplace. Constructive criticism is designed to provide clear, actionable feedback that helps individuals improve specific behaviors or outcomes. It focuses on the issue, not the person, avoiding personal attacks or negative labeling. In contrast, destructive feedback is often vague, harsh, or punitive, which can lower morale and create resistance rather than encourage improvement. Understanding the difference between constructive and destructive criticism is essential for maintaining professionalism and respect during workplace interactions. Properly framed criticism encourages openness and a solution-oriented mindset. Effective criticism highlights areas for growth while offering practical guidance on how to improve. It helps employees identify blind spots, develop new skills, and align their performance with organizational goals. When delivered respectfully, criticism can boost engagement and motivation, inspiring learning and adaptation rather than demoralization. Constructive criticism also supports a culture of learning by normalizing feedback as a tool for growth instead of blame. It promotes self-reflection, accountability, and ownership of development. Regular, thoughtful feedback builds resilience and adaptability, fosters transparent communication, and strengthens team dynamics. Ultimately, constructive criticism is a vital tool for professional growth. It guides improvement while preserving motivation and self-esteem, creating a positive environment for continuous learning and development. When delivering criticism, it's important to recognize that communication styles vary greatly across cultures. Some cultures appreciate direct and straightforward feedback, while others prefer a more indirect or nuanced approach. Being aware of these differences helps prevent misunderstandings and avoids causing unintended offense. To be effective, adjust your feedback based on the cultural context. This means balancing honesty with respect for social norms, using language, tone, and examples that are culturally appropriate. Also, consider the recipient's cultural background when choosing the timing, setting, and method for delivering criticism. Cultural expectations shape how criticism is perceived. In collectivist cultures, criticism might be viewed as a threat to group harmony and therefore softened or avoided. In contrast, individualist cultures often value direct feedback as a means for personal improvement. By being culturally sensitive, communication becomes more effective, reducing conflict and building trust within diverse teams. This approach fosters an inclusive workplace where everyone feels respected and valued, ultimately supporting better collaboration and organizational success. In summary, understanding and respecting cultural differences in communication is key to delivering criticism that is clear, constructive, and maintains positive workplace relationships. When employees receive criticism, they may experience a variety of psychological effects such as anxiety, stress, or lowered self-esteem, especially if the feedback is delivered abruptly or harshly. Some individuals might react defensively, seeing criticism as a personal attack rather than a chance to improve. Others may become demotivated or disengaged if the feedback focuses only on faults without acknowledging their strengths. It's important to understand these natural emotional reactions so that feedback can be tailored to minimize negative impacts. The way criticism is delivered, its tone, language, and context, greatly influences how employees interpret and emotionally respond to it. Constructive, clear, and respectful feedback tends to reduce anxiety and encourages openness. On the other hand, vague or overly critical comments can increase defensiveness and resistance to change. Additionally, the timing and setting matter. Providing feedback in a private, calm environment helps employees process it better. Empathy plays a key role in effective feedback by allowing the person giving criticism to understand and acknowledge the recipient's feelings. Emotional intelligence helps manage one's own emotions and respond sensitively to others' reactions. Using these skills fosters trust, reduces misunderstandings, and creates a supportive culture around feedback. Developing empathy and emotional intelligence improves both the effectiveness and acceptance of criticism. In summary, criticism in the workplace can trigger a wide range of emotional responses, but the delivery style significantly shapes these reactions. Applying empathy and emotional intelligence ensures feedback is received constructively and supports employee growth. When delivering criticism, choosing the right timing and setting is essential to ensure the feedback is constructive and well received. It is best to provide criticism in a private setting, as this encourages openness and reduces the risk of embarrassment or defensiveness. Public criticism can harm motivation and damage trust among employees. Timing also plays a key role. Avoid giving feedback during moments of high stress or distraction, as the recipient may not be able to engage productively. Deliver criticism soon after the behavior or issue occurs, while the details are still fresh and relevant. Additionally, be mindful of the recipient's current workload and emotional state to increase their receptiveness. Creating a quiet, neutral environment free from interruptions shows respect and helps maintain focus during the conversation. It is also important to consider cultural norms and individual preferences to ensure the approach is sensitive and effective. Overall, appropriate timing and setting can greatly improve how criticism is received and acted upon. Before delivering criticism, it is important to prepare thoroughly to ensure your feedback is constructive and well received. Start by identifying the specific goal of your criticism, focusing on helping the employee improve rather than assigning blame. Determine the outcome you want to achieve, such as encouraging a behavior change or enhancing a particular skill, and make sure your objectives align with the organization's values and support employee development. Next, clarify your objectives by choosing the right setting and timing for the conversation. Privacy and minimal distractions are key, and you should also consider the cultural background and personal preferences of the recipient to tailor your approach respectfully. Use clear and respectful language that focuses on behaviors rather than personal traits to maintain professionalism. Gather relevant facts by collecting concrete examples and evidence related to the issue. Verify the accuracy of this information to maintain credibility and fairness, and avoid making assumptions by relying on observable behaviors and objective data instead of hearsay or opinions. Finally, anticipate how the recipient might react emotionally to your criticism. Prepare strategies to manage defensive or negative responses calmly and constructively. Plan to encourage open dialogue by asking questions and showing empathy, which helps foster understanding and cooperation. By following these steps, defining clear objectives, gathering accurate information, and planning your communication approach, you can deliver criticism that is clear, respectful, and supportive of growth and improvement. This preparation helps avoid misunderstandings and ensures your feedback is effective. When delivering criticism at work, it's crucial to choose your words and tone carefully to maintain professionalism and respect. Using clear and specific language helps prevent misunderstandings and supports a constructive conversation. At the same time, respectful phrasing reduces defensiveness and fosters a positive dialogue. Be precise in your language to clarify your message and minimize ambiguity, so the recipient clearly understands the feedback. Avoid emotionally charged or judgmental words that might trigger resentment or defensiveness. Instead, focus on observable behaviors and outcomes rather than personal traits or assumptions. Using neutral, objective terms keeps the conversation fact-based and transparent, which builds trust. Your tone and delivery are just as important as your word choice. Maintain a calm and steady tone to convey professionalism and prevent emotional escalation. Avoid sarcasm, condescension, or an accusatory tone, as these can harm working relationships. Speak with empathy and respect, acknowledging the recipient's feelings and efforts. Modulate your volume and pace to ensure your message is received without intimidation or pressure. Use language that invites collaboration, such as saying, "Let's work on improving this," instead of, "You failed to do this." Ask open-ended questions to encourage reflection and dialogue, rather than delivering one-sided criticism. Be specific about what needs improvement and why it matters, framing feedback as an opportunity for growth rather than punishment or blame. Encourage the recipient to share their perspective to create a two-way conversation and promote constructive dialogue. When giving feedback, it is important to clearly identify and describe the exact context or event where the behavior occurred. Be specific about the time, place, and circumstances to ensure both you and the recipient share a clear understanding of the situation. Avoid vague references so the person can easily recall the moment being discussed. Next, explain the effects of the behavior on the team, project, or workplace environment. Share the consequences openly, including any emotional, operational, or performance-related outcomes. Express the impact from your perspective while staying factual and respectful to foster understanding. Focus strictly on the observed actions or conduct without interpreting motives or character. Use neutral, objective language to describe what the person did, avoiding generalizations or assumptions. This helps prevent defensiveness and keeps the feedback targeted on specific behaviors rather than personal traits. The Situation Behavior Impact (SBI) model provides a structured and effective way to deliver criticism. It emphasizes describing the situation clearly, outlining the specific behavior observed, and explaining the impact it had. This approach reduces misunderstandings and emotional reactions, making feedback more constructive and actionable. When providing feedback, it's important to balance positive comments with constructive criticism. This approach helps maintain employee motivation and confidence by recognizing their strengths while also addressing areas for improvement. Highlighting what employees do well reinforces good practices and encourages them to continue performing effectively. Acknowledging achievements not only builds confidence but also creates a supportive work environment where employees feel valued and respected, which boosts overall team morale. Focusing on strengths can also reduce anxiety or defensiveness during feedback sessions, making these conversations more productive and collaborative. Balanced feedback prevents employees from feeling overwhelmed by criticism and helps them stay motivated to improve. When constructive criticism is paired with recognition of strengths, it signals that development is a shared goal rather than a punishment, encouraging openness to change. Maintaining confidence through positive reinforcement supports employees' sense of self-efficacy, which is linked to better performance and job satisfaction. Overall, balanced feedback fosters a growth mindset by framing challenges as opportunities for learning and resilience, promoting continuous development. Active listening is essential during feedback sessions because it helps the recipient feel heard, understood, and valued, which promotes open and constructive communication. By using techniques like paraphrasing, asking open-ended questions, and expressing empathy, we can improve the quality of feedback and encourage collaborative problem-solving. Listening attentively shows respect and acknowledges the other person's perspective, which builds trust and reduces misunderstandings. This ensures that the message received matches the message intended, preventing confusion and conflict. When we listen actively, employees are more open and receptive to feedback, leading to more meaningful discussions. It also helps regulate emotions by giving the receiver time to process information calmly, reducing defensive reactions. Fostering a culture of active listening enhances overall team communication and productivity. Some key techniques to enhance listening include paraphrasing to confirm understanding, asking open-ended questions to encourage elaboration, and using nonverbal cues like nodding and eye contact to show engagement. It's important to avoid interrupting and to summarize key points to ensure alignment. Expressing empathy and using affirmations like, "I see your point," helps create a safe space for honest communication. Reflecting concerns and encouraging collaborative problem-solving keeps the conversation constructive and focused on growth. Maintaining a calm, non-threatening tone throughout the feedback session supports a positive and productive dialogue. When delivering criticism, nonverbal communication plays a crucial role in how your message is received. Maintaining an open posture, steady eye contact, and calm facial expressions helps promote respect and understanding. On the other hand, negative body language such as crossed arms or frowning can lead to defensiveness and misinterpretation. Your tone of voice is equally important. Using a calm, steady tone encourages the listener to be more receptive and reduces tension. Avoid harsh or sarcastic tones, as these can create conflict and diminish the effectiveness of your feedback. Adjusting your volume and pitch appropriately also helps convey respect and clarity. Overall, nonverbal cues like body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice either support or undermine the spoken message, so being mindful of these elements is essential when giving criticism. When receiving criticism, defensive reactions are quite common but can interfere with effective communication. It's important to recognize these behaviors early so we can use strategies to reduce tension and keep the conversation constructive. Some common defensive behaviors include interrupting or talking over the speaker to immediately refute criticism, shutting down or withdrawing from the conversation, showing visible signs of upset like anger or anxiety, making excuses or blaming others, and changing the subject to avoid the issue. These reactions often stem from feelings of embarrassment or shame, anxiety about job security, frustration from feeling misunderstood, confusion when feedback is unclear, or a threatened motivation if criticism feels personal rather than constructive. To manage these situations, it's helpful to use a calm and neutral tone to prevent emotions from escalating. Acknowledge the employee's feelings to show empathy, and encourage open dialogue by asking clarifying questions instead of making assumptions. Focus feedback on specific behaviors and outcomes rather than personal traits. Pausing when necessary allows space for reflection and helps reduce tension. Throughout the conversation, Reinforce the shared goal of improvement and collaboration to maintain a positive and productive atmosphere. Effective follow-up after delivering criticism is crucial for reinforcing improvement and maintaining trust between managers and employees. It shows a genuine commitment to the employee's development and helps create a supportive work environment where feedback leads to positive change. By following up, managers demonstrate that the feedback was meaningful and taken seriously. Follow-up also allows managers to assess whether the employee has understood and acted on the criticism in a constructive way. Regular check-ins provide opportunities to clarify any misunderstandings and adjust expectations if needed. Tracking progress helps keep momentum going and motivates employees to continue improving. This approach signals that the organization values continuous development rather than one-time judgment. Checking progress is important because it encourages a collaborative approach to growth instead of placing blame. Offering assistance such as coaching, resources, or additional training tailored to the employee's needs supports this process. Continued engagement builds trust and shows that criticism is intended to help, not punish. It fosters an environment where employees feel safe to acknowledge weaknesses and seek help. Ongoing support ensures that improvements are sustainable and become part of everyday work practices. This slide highlights the importance of encouraging self-reflection among employees as a key driver of their growth and development. Self-reflection empowers employees to take ownership of their progress by helping them become more aware of their behaviors and outcomes. When combined with external feedback, it creates a balanced and effective approach to continuous improvement. To promote self-reflection, encourage practices such as regular journaling or note-taking, which help employees track their challenges and achievements. During one-on-one meetings, use guided questions to prompt employees to evaluate their performance and identify areas for growth. Implementing self-rating tools or checklists aligned with job competencies can also facilitate structured self-assessment. Encourage employees to set personal goals that align with organizational objectives, fostering a connection between their development and the company's success. Peer reflection sessions can be valuable as well, allowing employees to share insights and receive constructive feedback from colleagues. Supporting self-assessment further involves helping employees create individualized development plans based on their reflections and career aspirations. Encourage accountability by having them set timelines and milestones for their goals. Provide resources such as training, coaching, or mentoring to help address any skill gaps. Recognize and affirm their efforts to reinforce motivation and positive behavior. Creating a safe and supportive environment is crucial so employees feel comfortable discussing challenges openly without fear of judgment. This fosters ownership of their development, making feedback more meaningful and actionable. Ultimately, combining self-reflection with external feedback cultivates a mindset of continuous learning. It balances subjective self-perceptions with objective observations, leading to greater self-awareness. Encouraging open dialogue between employees and managers about these reflections deepens understanding and clarifies expectations, promoting sustained performance improvement and professional resilience over time. Managers play a vital role in shaping the feedback culture within an organization. By consistently providing respectful and constructive feedback, they set a positive tone that fosters openness, trust, and continuous improvement. When managers give clear and objective feedback, they model the behavior expected from everyone in the organization. It is equally important for leaders to openly accept feedback themselves, demonstrating humility and a commitment to personal growth. This consistent practice helps normalize constructive criticism as a valuable and necessary part of work life. When feedback is communicated with empathy and clarity, it reduces fear and resistance among employees. By setting an example through respectful feedback, managers create a psychologically safe environment where employees feel comfortable sharing ideas and concerns. This builds trust, enhances collaboration, and maintains morale, even when addressing areas for improvement. Over time, this approach nurtures a growth mindset and a culture of continuous learning. Effective managers also encourage two-way feedback by inviting input from employees, reinforcing that feedback is a shared responsibility. This reciprocal communication promotes mutual understanding, aligns performance expectations, and helps identify issues early for timely support. By modeling openness, leaders empower employees to develop their own feedback skills and confidence, strengthening the overall feedback culture. When delivering criticism, it's important to avoid common mistakes that can undermine your message and damage workplace relationships. One frequent error is providing vague or unclear feedback, such as saying, "You need to do better," which leaves employees unsure about what specifically needs improvement. Instead, use specific and concrete observations to help them understand the issue and how to address it. Another mistake is making personal attacks by criticizing an individual's character rather than their actions. This can harm trust and morale, as comments perceived as insults create resentment and hinder progress. Focus your feedback on behaviors and outcomes to maintain professionalism and respect. Overgeneralization is also problematic. Statements like, "You always miss deadlines," exaggerate the problem and may seem unfair, leading to defensiveness rather than openness. It's better to limit feedback to particular incidents or behaviors to ensure fairness and accuracy. Overall, mistakes in delivering criticism can cause misunderstandings, reduce motivation, and strain relationships. To avoid these pitfalls, prepare your feedback carefully, use objective language, and emphasize collaboration. Encouraging open dialogue helps clarify points and supports mutual understanding, ultimately fostering a more constructive work environment. When delivering feedback in remote work settings, it's important to pay close attention to how we communicate and the emotional tone we convey. Unlike in-person interactions, remote feedback lacks physical presence, which means we miss out on nonverbal cues like body language and facial expressions. This can make it harder to interpret tone and intent. Written feedback, while convenient, can sometimes be misunderstood because it lacks vocal inflection and immediate opportunities for clarification. Additionally, technical issues such as poor connectivity or audio and video quality can disrupt the flow of communication and cause frustration. Remote work can also increase feelings of isolation, which might make criticism feel more personal or harsher than intended. Time zone differences and asynchronous communication can delay responses, potentially escalating misunderstandings. To overcome these challenges, it's essential to use clear and concise language to avoid ambiguity. Structuring feedback using models like SBI, situation, behavior, impact, helps provide specific and objective observations. Avoid using overly negative or vague terms, and balance criticism with recognition of strengths to keep motivation high. Always invite the recipient to ask questions or discuss the feedback further to encourage open dialogue. Proofreading messages carefully is also crucial to prevent unintended tone or errors that could cause confusion. For written feedback, choose a quiet and private setting to minimize distractions and protect confidentiality. Whenever possible, use video to convey facial expressions and tone, which helps build emotional connection. Start with positive comments to build rapport before moving into constructive criticism. Speak slowly and clearly, giving the recipient time to process and respond. Encourage open dialogue by asking for their perspective and clarifying any misunderstandings right away. By following these best practices, we can ensure that remote feedback remains clear, respectful, and effective despite the physical distance. When delivering criticism in the workplace, it is essential to uphold ethical standards by ensuring fairness, confidentiality, and non-discrimination. Providing feedback based on objective facts rather than personal opinions helps maintain a respectful and lawful environment. Balanced feedback that focuses on behavior and outcomes supports equal opportunities for all employees to improve and succeed, while avoiding favoritism or singling out individuals protects the integrity of the process. Criticism should be given in private to respect employee dignity and privacy. Any sensitive information shared must remain confidential and only be disclosed on a need-to-know basis. This confidentiality fosters open communication and reduces fear of retaliation, while violations can lead to mistrust and legal consequences. Employers should have clear policies to guide confidentiality during feedback. It is also critical to ensure that criticism is free from discrimination based on race, gender, age, religion, disability, or other protected characteristics. Discriminatory feedback can result in harassment claims and legal action against the organization. Aligning feedback with company policies and labor laws, training managers on legal aspects, and documenting feedback objectively all help minimize risks and promote ethical communication. Emotional intelligence plays a vital role in both giving and receiving feedback effectively. By developing key skills such as self-awareness, empathy, emotional regulation, social skills, and self-motivation, we can improve how we communicate and build stronger workplace relationships. Self-awareness helps us recognize our own emotions and understand how they impact our communication during feedback. Empathy allows us to appreciate the feelings and perspectives of others, making criticism easier to accept. Emotional regulation ensures we manage our responses, maintaining composure and delivering feedback calmly and respectfully. Social skills enable open dialogue and build trust, while self-motivation keeps us focused on improvement rather than blame. These emotional intelligence skills improve clarity by helping us frame feedback constructively and without bias. They reduce misunderstandings by being sensitive to the recipient's emotions and cultural background, encourage active listening, and promote a collaborative environment where feedback is seen as an opportunity for growth. Awareness of nonverbal communication also ensures our gestures and tone support our message. By enhancing communication through emotional intelligence, we build trust with consistent, respectful, and empathetic feedback. This fosters psychological safety, encouraging open discussions about challenges and development. It also helps resolve conflicts calmly, strengthens team cohesion, and leads to higher employee engagement and motivation, ultimately improving overall organizational performance. This slide highlights the importance of professional development programs focused on improving criticism and feedback skills in the workplace. These programs are designed to help both employees and managers deliver criticism constructively, which enhances team dynamics and overall organizational performance. Key elements include understanding the principles of constructive criticism such as clarity, respect, and objectivity, as well as developing communication techniques that emphasize empathy and active listening. Participants also learn structured models like the Situation Behavior Impact Framework to organize their feedback effectively. Role-playing exercises provide a safe space to practice giving and receiving criticism, while cultural competence training ensures feedback is adapted appropriately for diverse teams. The core components of these training programs build confidence in offering balanced, actionable feedback, reduce conflicts caused by poorly delivered criticism, and strengthen trust and open communication. This supports a culture of continuous improvement and helps improve workplace morale and productivity by addressing issues promptly and constructively. Ongoing professional development is crucial because feedback skills evolve with experience and changing workplace dynamics. Regular refresher courses reinforce best practices and introduce new communication techniques, helping employees adapt to new technologies and remote work challenges. Continuous learning also encourages self-reflection and peer coaching, aligning feedback skills with organizational values to ensure consistency across all levels. This slide focuses on measuring the effectiveness of how criticism is delivered. It is important to evaluate both the delivery and reception of criticism to ensure that feedback results in positive outcomes. We can use tools such as surveys, review sessions, and performance metrics to gain clear insights into areas for improvement. Regularly assessing feedback in this way has been shown to improve the effectiveness of criticism by 30% within 2 years. This approach helps create a more constructive and productive feedback culture. When adapting criticism for different roles, it's important to tailor your feedback to be clear, actionable, and directly related to specific tasks and safety standards. Use simple and direct language, avoiding jargon or abstract concepts to ensure everyone understands the message. Keep the tone supportive and encouraging to maintain motivation and reduce anxiety. For laborers and frontline staff, provide constructive criticism that guides skill development and professional growth. Balance your feedback by recognizing their efforts while pointing out areas for improvement to build their confidence. Encourage questions and open dialogue to foster better understanding and engagement. When addressing junior staff and entry-level employees, include feedback on leadership, decision-making, and team management skills in addition to task performance. Use more detailed and strategic language, connecting your criticism to broader organizational goals. Maintain a respectful tone that challenges them while supporting their autonomy and accountability. For middle management, frame criticism around high-level strategic outcomes, leadership effectiveness, and organizational impact. Focus on data-driven insights and long-term implications rather than operational details. Use a professional and diplomatic tone that respects their position and experience, while encouraging reflection. Finally, for senior management and executives, tailor feedback to their specific needs and contexts. This approach ensures clarity, relevance, and receptiveness, ultimately promoting growth and improvement across all levels of the organization. This slide highlights the importance of integrating regular, constructive criticism into performance management to drive both individual and organizational success. Effective performance management begins with setting clear, SMART goals that align with the company's objectives and communicating these expectations transparently to employees. It's crucial to include both quantitative results and behavioral competencies in performance criteria. Criticism should be framed positively, as an opportunity for learning and growth rather than punishment. Feedback must be linked directly to professional development plans and training, while also recognizing employees' strengths to keep them motivated. Regular feedback sessions throughout the appraisal period are essential, rather than relying only on annual reviews. These sessions should encourage open dialogue to clarify issues and collaboratively identify ways to improve. Monitoring progress involves reviewing performance against goals using objective data, adjusting expectations as needed, and addressing challenges constructively. Documentation such as performance goals, development plans, and feedback meeting notes ensures transparency and accountability. Finally, feedback outcomes should inform decisions about promotions, role changes, and rewards. Discussing career aspirations during feedback helps align development efforts with long-term growth, fostering a culture where continuous feedback supports sustained career advancement. This slide highlights the importance of encouraging a growth mindset within organizations, especially when it comes to receiving and using criticism for professional development. A growth mindset, a concept developed by psychologist Carol Dweck, is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. Individuals with this mindset see challenges and setbacks as opportunities to learn, rather than failures. In contrast, a fixed mindset assumes abilities are static, which can limit openness to feedback. Embracing a growth mindset helps employees view criticism as constructive input that supports their growth, fostering resilience, motivation, and adaptability. Employees with a growth mindset are more likely to accept criticism constructively, seek feedback proactively, and use it to improve their performance. This reduces defensiveness and encourages productive dialogue, which is essential for continuous improvement and long-term career growth. Leaders play a key role by modeling growth mindset behaviors, creating safe environments for feedback, and providing training on its benefits. Encouraging reflection on feedback and recognizing efforts and improvements helps reinforce this mindset within teams, ultimately building a culture where feedback is valued as a tool for learning and development. Many employees and managers hesitate to give criticism because they fear negative reactions or damaging relationships. This fear often leads to withholding important feedback, which can cause unresolved issues and hinder progress. To overcome this, it's important to create a psychologically safe environment where feedback is seen as an opportunity for improvement rather than a personal attack. Providing training in conflict resolution and communication helps individuals approach criticism with confidence and reduces anxiety. Another common barrier is the lack of skill in delivering feedback constructively. Without proper training, criticism can be unclear, harsh, or focused on personal traits rather than observable behaviors. Offering formal training programs, coaching, and opportunities for practice through role-playing can improve these skills, enabling feedback that is respectful, specific, and actionable. Cultural and communication differences also play a significant role. Different cultural backgrounds influence how criticism is perceived. Some may see direct feedback as disrespectful, while others expect straightforward communication. Developing cultural competence and encouraging open dialogue about communication preferences helps tailor feedback in a way that respects diverse perspectives and prevents misunderstandings. In summary, effective criticism is often blocked by fear of conflict, skill gaps, and cultural differences. By recognizing these challenges and applying targeted strategies, organizations can create a more open and constructive feedback culture that promotes growth and collaboration. When delivering criticism, it's important to focus on specific behaviors and outcomes rather than personal traits. This helps avoid misunderstandings and defensiveness. Using structured models like the Situation Behavior Impact, or SBI, model can make your feedback more objective and clear. Combine constructive criticism with recognition of strengths to keep motivation and confidence high. Avoid giving only negative feedback, as this can overwhelm the recipient and reduce their receptiveness. Be mindful of cultural norms that influence how criticism is perceived and delivered. Adapt your tone, language, and delivery style to suit diverse backgrounds, ensuring your message is received in a constructive way. Practice empathy by understanding the emotional impact criticism can have. Manage your own emotions and respond thoughtfully to any defensive reactions to maintain a respectful and productive dialogue. Effective criticism in the workplace requires a balanced and thoughtful approach that respects cultural differences, uses clear communication, and fosters a supportive environment. Following these best practices can enhance employee development, maintain positive relationships, and promote continuous improvement. Finally, provide ongoing support and check in on progress after delivering criticism. Encourage self-reflection and ownership of development to promote lasting improvement. Feedback plays a crucial role in employee development by providing constructive criticism that highlights specific behaviors and skills needing improvement. This clear guidance helps employees focus their professional growth efforts effectively. Regular feedback fosters a continuous learning mindset, which is essential for adapting to changing job demands and industry standards. By recognizing both strengths and areas for growth, feedback boosts employee confidence and motivation, encouraging sustained effort. Timely and specific feedback prevents the repetition of mistakes and accelerates skill acquisition. It offers actionable insights that employees can use to refine both technical and interpersonal skills, promoting greater self-awareness about performance gaps. This ongoing skill development not only improves job performance but also prepares employees for expanded responsibilities and mastery of their roles. Constructive feedback aligns individual efforts with organizational goals, increasing visibility for promotion opportunities. Employees who receive and act on feedback demonstrate adaptability and commitment, qualities highly valued in leadership. Regular performance discussions that incorporate feedback help set realistic career goals and development plans, supporting a culture of merit-based advancement. This culture fosters fairness and motivation across all levels of the organization. Overall, feedback is a powerful catalyst for career progression. It identifies areas for improvement, reinforces strengths, and guides employees toward continuous learning, ensuring their performance aligns with organizational objectives and supports their professional growth. Creating a feedback-friendly environment is essential for fostering open communication, trust, and continuous improvement within an organization. Leadership plays a vital role in this by modeling openness to both giving and receiving feedback, which sets a powerful example for all employees. It's important for leaders to consistently communicate the value of feedback and integrate it into regular activities such as performance reviews, team meetings, and informal check-ins. Providing managers with training on how to deliver feedback effectively helps ensure that the entire organization is aligned in its approach. A key part of this environment is creating psychological safety, where employees feel comfortable sharing their opinions and concerns without fear of retaliation or judgment. Feedback should be normalized as a constructive and routine part of work, not as a punitive measure. Encouraging respect, active listening, and prompt conflict resolution helps maintain a positive atmosphere for feedback. To embed feedback into daily practices, organizations should integrate feedback opportunities into everyday workflows, making them habitual rather than occasional. Promoting peer-to-peer feedback alongside top-down communication builds stronger collaborative relationships. Using clear and accessible tools for feedback exchange makes the process easier and more timely. Finally, recognizing and celebrating effective feedback reinforces its importance and encourages ongoing participation. When receiving criticism from peers and subordinates, it's important to handle the feedback with calmness and respect. Listen without interrupting and avoid becoming defensive right away. Instead, try to objectively consider the points being made and keep an open body language to show you are receptive. Take a moment to reflect before responding, as this helps you provide a thoughtful reply. Thank the person for sharing their observations to create a positive communication environment. If something is unclear, ask respectful questions to ensure you fully understand their perspective. Even if you disagree, avoid dismissing the feedback or belittling the speaker. Focus on problem solving and future improvements rather than assigning blame. Maintain confidentiality when appropriate to build trust and encourage honest dialogue. Encourage ongoing two-way feedback to promote transparency and continuous growth within the team. Recognize that it can take courage for colleagues to offer criticism, and normalize this practice by responding fairly and openly. Use these interactions as opportunities to strengthen team cohesion and collaboration. Be mindful of cultural and individual differences in communication styles to ensure everyone feels included. Ultimately, handling criticism professionally helps build mutual respect and trust, improving communication and teamwork across all levels. This slide presents a comprehensive list of references and further reading materials that support the concepts covered in this course on effective feedback and communication. The books by Stone, Patton, and Heen provide foundational insights into managing difficult conversations and receiving feedback well. London's work offers detailed theories on feedback mechanisms and their role in employee development. Key academic articles, such as the one by Ashford and Cummings, explore feedback dynamics within organizations. We also include important guidelines from reputable organizations like the International Labour Organization and the Society for Human Resource Management, which emphasize inclusive communication and practical feedback techniques. Additionally, professional frameworks from authors like Goleman highlight the importance of emotional intelligence in feedback processes. For those interested in further study, these resources offer valuable perspectives on delivering and receiving feedback effectively in diverse workplace environments. This list is intended to deepen your understanding and provide evidence-based approaches to enhance your communication skills. This training content is intended solely for educational use within the workplace and is designed to support your learning. It is important to apply the information carefully and to seek specialized advice when dealing with complex legal, medical, or professional situations. The material is provided, as is, without any guarantees regarding its completeness, accuracy, or timeliness. Users should exercise professional judgment and caution when using this information, as errors or omissions may exist. Please note that neither the author nor the provider assumes any responsibility for decisions made based on this content. Always consult appropriate experts for guidance on complex issues.